Hello! Thank you for stopping by the channel. Random Green here. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about, will eternal life be boring? Would eternal life be boring? I don't think it would, because the thing is, you would be able to do the things you love to do all the time. Imagine being able to do the things you like to do. It all depends on what kind of realm you're living in. If you're living stuck here, right here on planet Earth, living forever as a second-class citizen, who knows? But a person really should never be bored. I don't think boredom has anything to do with it. You know, I think eternal life would be if you're stuck on one place and you can't move to a different place. I wouldn't call it boring. I would call it really depressing than anything. Because I guess boring, I mean, I could, it all depends on the individual. But I don't think it would be boring. Now, when I say second-class citizen, that's another story, and I'm just using an example. What kind of life? I mean, if you were able to live where you'd be able to travel to distant galaxies, you know, that would be really cool. That would be, you would never get bored then. But maybe because see, boredom is such an overused word. I think it's lost its meaning in a way. You know, like the saying, it is what it is. That's like a new saying that just, well, not that new, but it's just a saying that just gets a little old. And, you know, like when someone says they're bored, it's more of a complaint. They're just complaining. I work with people that will say that they're bored, and I say, hey, there's some jobs you can do here. You can help me with this. Oh, no, I don't want to do that because it's too much work or too hard. So really, when it comes down to it, boredom is not like it's lost its meaning, and you know, boredom is actually something that doesn't even, you know, people don't, it's, you know, a person should never really be bored. I think there's different definitions if someone has eternal life. And now, eternal life, it's just nobody has it. It's not even, it's not going to happen. You know, this is the only life we have, you know, until it's proven to me otherwise. You know, you think about it, I mean, you could have eternal life. But I don't think eternity would be would be boring. I mean, if you would be able to do something, if you would be able to go to travel again to distant galaxies, that would be really, again, awesome. I don't think you would be able to go through portals, and I mean, who knows what you'd be able to do if you'd have the utmost power. If you'd have supernatural powers, I guess that would be kind of cool. But if you would, just say if we would never grow old and never die in a realm, you know, that would be, you certainly would learn a lot. It would be very interesting. You could live in, say, Australia for 10 million years, and then you would go to China for 10 million years. But that brings back to another point that I was going to bring up about the complexity of time. We don't know the nature of time. You know, for example, 100 trillion years could be eternity. You know, when it comes to time, you think about 1 billion seconds is over 30 years. Now, that's a long time. So just imagine how long a billion years is. 1 trillion years is over 30,000 years. So imagine living 1 trillion years. So, but I don't, and countless billions of years, you know, I guess only time would tell, because you can't really say it now, but perhaps you'd be able to work on things where you wouldn't be bored. See, so everybody says, well, eternal life would be boring. You'd be bored. No, you wouldn't. I mean, you just never, you can't say it until you actually, what do we live? 70, 80, 90 years at most, 100 years, very rare circumstances or very rare occurrences where someone lives to be 100 years old. So we don't even know, we don't even live to half a century. We don't even live, I haven't personally lived to half a century. So, and when did I really start appreciating time? 10, 15 years ago, maybe. So to really, I mean, your first 20 years of your life don't really count because you're just trying to get to the concept of this thing called time, and when we try to analyze it and think, you don't really remember your first 20 years, even the first 25 years. It starts going a little faster when you start hitting your like 30s and 40s. But not that it goes by that fast anyway, because I remember a few things from a couple years ago that was, seemed a long time ago, actually. And then, with COVID, oh boy, that took forever. That was a long, long, long time. So, but, once you get to, say you have immortality, or you have eternal life, and you live 100, 200, 300 years, then you start appreciating the nature of time and thinking, but you'd be able to come up with different things to do. So I don't think the short answer, I know I gave my long answer, but in short answer, no, a person shouldn't be bored, because it I think it almost shows a lack of intelligence if someone gets bored. Just keep yourself occupied. And it's nothing wrong with being bored. Sometimes it's nice and relaxing to be bored. I certainly would rather be bored and not stressed and busy. I mean, I'd certainly rather be bored. That's me anyway. But maybe a person be able to figure something out after 300 years of living, or 400 years of living, if someone find the immortality for, but just our bodies alone, even being a physical being versus like a supernatural being. A physical being you have to sustain yourself, you have to eat, you have to sleep, and you look at how the body that we have, how weak it is. You put a toothpick into someone's skin and they can stab somebody. It's just, we're so weak as a species. So I don't know, maybe we don't have the true concept of the reality of eternity. So that's just sharing my thoughts. Thanks very much. If you made it through the whole video, cool. Thanks a lot.